Swampert looking to absorb the Dragon Claw, and we see the aggressive pivot into Aggron. Aggron laying the smackdown onto this Dragonite. Unfortunately, they're going to reach the last second superpower, and we're going to invest the final Protect Shield. Aggron does get that full smackdown, farm down, and out comes Togekiss. Meteor Beam, of course, will be forcing the final Protect Shield and vamping up our attack. The opponent desperately looking to reach the Aura Sphere or Flamethrower. They only reach the Ancient Power. But is Ancient Power enough to knock out? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. So welcome back to the channel. Today, we have an incredibly spicy battle submission from my friend Kingperior. As you can see on the screen, these battles are at rank 20. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of lower rank battles. However, when you're going to use this level of ridiculous spice, what elo do you really expect to play at? To quote Dan Ottawa yesterday, this meta has all of 13 meta-relevant Pokemon. And the fact that all the other content creators like to produce top team videos and practice battles, within 6 hours of any cup being released, you've seen all of the picks that you could possibly want to run to climb elo. So we're going to stick to our lane and provide some entertainment for you all with this spicy triple shadow team. We're going to be featuring a very anti-fairy core with Aggron and Victreebel. This core covers each other's weaknesses near perfectly. Aggron's going to be weak to water, fighting and ground. Of course, Victreebel, due to the grass poison typing, should at least on paper be able to handle all of them threats. To form a good core, you need synergy, so Aggron needs to be able to cover Victreebel's 4 weaknesses, which are going to be fire, flying, ice and psychic. And Aggron, of course, either resists them threats or hits them for super effective. Is this team going to work in a no CP limit format? Well, there's only one way to find out. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we led Aggron into Dragonite. We laid the smack down of that Dragonite, knocking it out of the sky. We did correctly shield up a superpower, and out comes Metagross. Metagross, of course, will be very dominant against Victreebel, so we're forced to stay in, but that Meteor Beam and the boosted Smackdowns have put this into range where Swampert is easily about to come in and just fire off a Hydro Cannon. Kingperior sends out Swampert, aka the GOAT, and goes straight for that Hydro Cannon, forcing back a Protect Shield. The opponent opting to stay in, so we're going to see Kingperior look to keep himself on Swampert, call him their weak in the back. Can we get the full Mud Shot farm down? Kingperior over farms, doesn't want to risk it and fires off the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon goes unshielded. The opponent's final Pokemon is Togekiss, aka Togepiss, and we are sitting in a great spot. Swampert fires off the Hydro Cannon. We then see the pivot into Victreebel. Victreebel is going to be able to outpace to the Sludge Bomb, and the opponent is going to say no thank you and concede the match. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, 2 for 2 on Flyer leads, and Aggron is absolutely loving life. Look at this smackdown damage. The opponent goes straight for a Dragon Claw. So I always get asked how I count 1 turn moves. Well, what I'm doing is counting Kingperior's moves. He threw 4 smackdowns, which is 12 turns, so the opponent could only beat a Dragon Claw. Hence Kingperior no shielded. The opponent then sends out Vaporeon, and let's go Vic. Kingperior chomping at the bit, looking to get Victreebel onto the battlefield. We tank the Aqua Tail, return fire with the Leaf Blade. The opponent looking to flip the script and make a play at switch advantage. Shadow Vic, insanely glassy in any format. Kingperior trusting that he'll survive the Aqua Tail and be able to reach the next Leaf Blade. The opponent has got switch advantage, but it's cost them 2 Protect Shields. Kingperior now sends out Swampert. I imagine we shield this move up as we don't know what's in the back. If Kingperior was actually running Sludge Wave, we'd be able to knock Dragonite out of the sky. Speaking of which, the opponent attempts to catch a Hydro Cannon. Kingperior says, not today, trainer, and sends out Aggron. Aggron running out of HP. We correctly shield up the superpower, commit to the full smackdown farm down, and leave absolutely loaded. Back out comes Vaporeon. We fire off the Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam isn't enough to knock out. We do get the smackdown farm down, and we leave on minimal HP. Out comes Togekiss. We reach the Meteor Beam, and it's going to be hi Togekiss, bye Togekiss, get fucking wrecked. GG's, and thanks for playing. When it comes to this format, Togekiss is without a doubt the most annoying Pokemon, and my god, is Aggron such a hard wall to it. Speaking of which, we see it in the lead in the next battle. The opponent safe switches into Rhyperior, and Kingperior answers with Victreebel. My god, was I tongue twisted there. The insanely glassy Shadow Victreebel shields up the breaking swipe, commits to the full magical leaf farm down. Back out comes Togekiss, and this is such a risky bait. We fire off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade forces the Protect Shield, and that is going to allow Victreebel to fire off the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb! Oh, goes shielded. Victreebel doesn't get in on the big boom action, but regardless, we still have the correct alignment. I don't believe the opponent's thrown 10 charms, which they'd need to throw to reach a threatening move of Aura Spear or Flamethrower. Kingperior does shield up the Aerial Ace regardless, but we've now got so much energy. Out comes Metagross. Of course, on this moveset, they do resist everything, but Meteor Beam still lands for a lot of resisted damage, and now vamping up this smackdown damage as well. Kingperior even able to reach the heavy slam, once again resisted. We could have Thunder. It is a viable moveset on Aggron, which would hit for neutral, but regardless, this is GG's. Aggron almost takes out Metagross. We send out Swampert, commit to the Mud Shot farm down, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see the battle of the rock types, a favourable matchup for us due to rock being a dreadful defensive type and it doesn't resist itself, but of course Aggron steel subtyping does resist rock. We see the Say Switch into Victreebel, goes straight for the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade forces protection, and my god, is Vic not tanking these smackdowns well whatsoever. We shield up the crunch. The opponent then pivots out into Dragonite. We're not going to reach the Sludge Bomb, so settle for the double resisted Leaf Blade, and this is going to do pretty much nothing. I think that actually healed Dragonite, if I'm being brutally honest. It's nice to bait this thing out though, as Swampert, not running Sludge Wave, has a dreadful matchup here. Kingperior respects the superpower. We get baited with the Dragon Claw, and we're going to get outpaced the superpower if the opponent has it. Up in Hurricane far too many times. Does the opponent have superpower? No, they don't. Unfortunately, we did CMP tie. We could have Smackdown farmed it all the way down, but it is what it is. Kingperior instantly pivots into Swampert. Swampert able to overfarm and fire off the Hydro Cannon. The opponent still one Protect Shield, 2 hard beyond. Choose not to invest on T-Tar, saving that final Protect Shield for Metagross. Kingperior farms up to the Earthquake baits with the Hydro Cannon. Is Kingperior the best Master Baiter in the world? Yes, he is. We force the Protect Shield. Kingperior then looks to get us some chip damage with the Hydro Cannon. The opponent thinks a Meteor Mash will be enough to knock out, but Swampert says no, hangs on, very low on HP. Hydro Cannon won't be lethal from this range. The opponent's going to need to Bullet Punch, farm us down, but Swampert able to survive, reach one further Hydro Cannon, and we're able to take that game. So a miscalculation from the opponent. If they would have Earthquaked us, I think they had a very good chance of winning that battle. In the next battle, we see a dreadful lead. We see the instant pivot into Swampert. The opponent is running Mud Shot, so they're not doing any fast move pressure whatsoever. Swampert fires off the neutral Hydro Cannon, forcing a Protect Shield. I imagine if you're on Mud Shot, you've got twin nukes of Outrage and Earth Power. We correctly shielded the Outrage, which is a huge shield. The super spammy Swampert has a very nice pacing advantage in this matchup, but the neutral Hydro Cannons aren't all that threatening, whereas an Outrage would essentially one-shot us. Kingperior correctly shields up Outrage. Number 2, the opponent forces both Protect Shields. Out comes Togekiss. We build up to the Sludge Wave bait with the Hydro Cannon. You've always got to fake it till you make it, and we force the opponent's final Protect Shield. Switch Timer pops up. We see the pivot back into Aggron. Aggron looks to fire off the Heavy Slam, but loses CMP. If this is an Aura Spear, we're about to get boomed. The opponent does have Aura Spear, and Aggron gets vanquished back to its Pokeball. We now find ourselves in a shieldless game, so Kingperior sends out Victreebel, which is supposed to resist charms, although it doesn't look like it, as tanking only 5 has got us below half health. We fire off the Leaf Blade, even resisted. It does secure the knockout. Out comes Annihilate. Victreebel has access to Leaf Blade, one of the finest moves in the game, a whopping 2.0 DPE, but being only 2700 CP, it didn't do all that much damage to 8. The opponent fires off the... No. Low Sweep. Please, for the love of God, if you're going to run one of the top meta picks Annihilate, run the correct moveset. Low Sweep, one of the most dreadful moves you could possibly run, but regardless, Kingperior has this one in the bag. Swampert Hydro Cannons everything to death, and we take that game. So if you are a newer battler, check out our website called PvPoke, have a look on recommended movesets and just run that. Of course, you can run some different movesets, but don't run Low Sweep ever, and I mean ever. In the next battle, we see Metagross in the lead. Kingperior makes a very nice catch, catching the Meteor Mash onto Swampert. The opponent stays in, so Kingperior goes straight for the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon forces a Protect Shield. At this range, even a Meteor Mash will knock us out, so we're going to see the shield deployed. Oh, for Psychic. I did not see that one coming. The opponent forces our Protect Shield and then send out Dragonite. This is why I run Sludge Wave with my Shadow Swampert, because the Shadow Sludge Wave does around 50%. Saying that though, 2 Hydro Cannons would essentially do the same, as Hydro Cannon is busted. We actually force a Protect Shield, which massively caught me off guard, as even if we're running Sludge Wave, a Sludge Wave wouldn't have been lethal from that range. We send out Vic. Vic tanks the Dragon Claw, not particularly well. We bank the Leaf Blade and then send out Aggron. Tough decision to make. We're going to call the opponent is going to throw the superpower. Oof, we get baited. Surely this game's just lost. This should only be a Dragon Claw. I've only thrown 3 further Dragon Tails. Dragon Claw doesn't do much, but Aggron rapidly running out of HP. Back out comes Metagross. We fire off the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam is going to Vampire Power attack. We do get the Smackdown Farm Down. Back out comes Dragonite. Dragonite gets Smackdown Farm Down as well. Out comes Rhyperior. Double weak to grass. Is this Leaf Blade enough to knock out? Yes, it is. Holy moly. That wasn't under-leveled Rhyperior. I don't know if it was maxed out, if it would have done that much damage, but regardless, we somehow pick up the dub. Curiosity has got the better of me, so I looked on PvPoke. If that was maxed out all the way to level 50, the Leaf Blade would have only done 82%. In the next battle, yet another fluffy cloud. The opponent save switches into Annihilate, and we answer with Vic. I'm very glad the opponent didn't low sweep us. We should have a Night Slash. The opponent didn't boost, so I imagine we survived one non-stab Night Slash. Right, let's see. No! Ice Punch! Oof. Sub-rank 20. Battles around 2000 ELO really are the Wild West. Night Slash Ice Punch. I did not see that coming. I think I'm quite lucky that I don't have face cam capability, because if I did, you'd see me looking very confused and putting some strange faces for pretty much the duration of this entire video. We landed the Hydro Cannon, which didn't quite knock out the 8. The opponent then switched up their Togekiss into Aggron. We fire off the Meteor Beam, forcing the final protection. The opponent doesn't reach a charge move, and out comes Metagross. This is a pretty small Metagross. I think it's like level 41. I do not think they're going to appreciate this resisted Meteor Beam. Holy crap. The opponent near gets one shot, and then they're going to concede the match. Oh, man. This is ridiculous. Kingperior manages to navigate his way through this Wild West ELO range and go a perfect 5-0. In the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. The opponent is staying in, and this one has at least built up to their superpower. Kingperior respects it. The opponent full sends. They then recognise they're going to get Smackdown, Farm Down, and send out Mamoswine. Mamoswine not going to appreciate this Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam forces the Protect Shield, and we send out Vic. We see the instant shield deployed, and Avalanche will probably kill this Vic and all its family. It'd probably actually kill the entire race of Victreebels, to be honest. We're going to return fire with the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade, of course, will knock out from this range. The opponent invests a dreadful shield. They just get Magical Leaf Farm Down afterwards. And out comes Sylveon. Unfortunately, we're not going to quite reach the Sludge Bomb, but a Leaf Blade should pretty much put this into Hydro Cannon range. Out comes Swampert. Swampert over farms, fires off the Hydro Cannon. I think this will be close to knocking out if it doesn't quite knock out. It leaves them deep into the red, but likewise, this non-stab Side Shock also won't knock us out. Swampert is going to be able to Mud Shot Farm Down afterwards. Swampert leaves with the Hydro Cannon. Kingperior banks the Hydro Cannon, sends out Aggron. The opponent's going to be forced to Superpower to secure the knockout. And of course, that is definitely Hydro Cannon range. They actually throw the Dragon Claw, get Smackdown Farm Down, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle. Right, I'm not going to laugh from this battle, I promise. Aggron, Dragonite. Great lead. The opponent is staying in. At lower elo, people seem to be running a lot of flyers. They seem to be ABA weak. We're going to respect the potential superpower again. The opponent does YOLO the superpower. This opponent is staying in, and Aggron looks for the full Smackdown Farm Down. We see Kingperior attempt to catch a debuff superpower onto Victreebel. What a play. Out comes Dragontail Haxorus. Kingperior commits to the Sludge Bomb. Haxorus insanely glassy. Does the opponent respect the damage? Oh, I'll be honest, that was quite underwhelming. Come on, keep it together. Does the opponent have Surf? Oh, I don't know. As they throw a break into it. Perhaps they did, perhaps they didn't. We get the full Smackdown Farm Down. The opponent's final Pokemon is Sylveon. We go straight for the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam forces the Protect Shield. Can we reach the Heavy Slam? Unfortunately, we cannot. In the one shield, my money would always be on the go to be able to clean up. Kingperior heavily over farming before firing off the Hydro Cannon at very nice timing. The opponent lightly invests that Protect Shield. Swampert now just needs to double up. Kingperior going to throw 4 Mud Shots and the Hydro Cannon for optimal fast move timing. This Hydro Cannon won't be lethal, but the second one certainly is going to get the job done, and Kingperior is going to pick up the dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. That was definitely a whole battle without me laughing whatsoever. Let's see if we can go 2 for 2 in the next battle. We see Togekiss, aka Togepiss, in the lead. The opponent save switches into Swampert, and look at this magical leaf damage. Let's go, Vic. It looks like Kingperior going to respect a potential Earthquake or Sludge Wave, which would probably knock us out. Kingperior then gets the full magical leaf farm down. Back out comes Dragonite. And this is where Sludge Bomb is going to be nice, although I don't think it's going to do that much. The opponent shields the first. Victreebel is going to be able to reach the second. Maybe it does 50%. Let's see. Oh, God, that was so underwhelming. 2700 CP in the open format. You can just see what stat product is. If you're going to run these really small stat product Pokemon, don't expect them to hit hard. Kingperior sends out Swampert just to absorb the energy before pivoting out into Aggron. Aggron has a very nice matchup against the remainder of the team. He correctly shielded the superpower. Aggron gets the full smackdown farm down. Out comes Togekiss. We go straight for the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam is, of course, going to force the final Protect Shield. The opponent looking to reach the Aura Sphere or Flamethrower. They're not going to make it. They set off the Ancient Power. Is Ancient Power enough to knock out? No, it's not. We withstand the damage. Smackdown, farm down, and we're able to take that game. Aggron absolutely popping off. In the next battle, we see Glaceon in the lead. Trainer, pivot, pivot. The opponent does pivot into Metagross. I have no idea why we don't go straight to Swampert. I guess that answers my question. We're going to look to catch the Meteor Mash onto Swampert. No, another Psychic. Luckily for us, this Metagross is under-leveled and Psychic has been nerfed, as we cannot afford to lose Switch. As I imagine, not many Ice Shards would knock out Vic. We've seen it as 0 bulk in this format. Kingperior, recognising Switch advantage is going to be everything. Shields up the Psychic, he then farms up to the double Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent then makes a savage catch the next Hydro Cannon onto Dragonite. But Dragonite is instantly greeted with Aggron, and Aggron is about to pop off. Meteor Beam, one-shots them, vanquishes them, back to their Pokeball, back out comes Metagross, and it looks like we're going all in on Aggron. Aggron shields up the Psychic. Is this single moved? Aggron looking for the full smackdown farm down, which we get. We leave with the Meteor Beam, and this time it's Glaceon's family that are going to be attending a very sad funeral. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is going to draw to a close today's showcase. Huge shout out to Kingperior for showing us what the Master League looks like around 2000 ELO. That is the absolute Wild West. There was some crazy plays, some crazy movesets, some underlevel Pokemon, you name it, it had it all. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.